What up, people? What up, fam?
Hello, friends.
What's going on, everybody?
How's everybody doing? Hi, babe.
I'm in pain here, but I'm hanging in there. I'm here. It's about the only good thing that's happening. I get to be excited to be here and not
That's
focus
not
on
the
my.
only good
I
thing.
mean, like as far as like my pain, what I'm feeling right now. So, but I get to be here with my beautiful wife, with whom by now we've already celebrated 6 years. For us, it'll be tomorrow, but for you guys, by the time you watch this, it'd be probably a week or two. So, but yeah, we're happy to be here. We're blessed. It is a privilege, as always, every time we get to come here and do this. We hope that we're continuing to be a means of encouragement for you guys that are listening, and we thank the Lord for allowing us to do so. So, we want to shout out to all our testifiers that you guys are hanging with us. As always, the only thing we ask is if something that we said or if a video that you watch has encouraged you, we ask you that you share with someone that you know might be in need of the same encouragement. That's the whole purpose. We're here to encourage you guys to get closer to God. We're here to encourage you to get curious about Him through our testimony and other people's testimonies. So, yeah. So don't forget to subscribe and share the videos as we continue to do our best to unravel what the Lord is telling us to do. So we promised that we're gonna do part two of our funny wedding video. Hopefully, you guys watched that on our anniversary on the 22nd. So this is part two because we didn't get to go into our wedding and our marriage and all that stuff. So we're gonna be talking about that today, and yeah, and then we'll keep going. I know some of you guys are like, we want to hear the continuation of the testimonies, but the Lord is always shifting things.
Yeah.
So we're just
And we'll go back to the test. I mean, it's still
it's
it's
still
still
a
a
testimony.
testimony,
It's just yeah.
but
So
this happened
before
way before,
the
so it's a
move and
different,
everything, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Anyways, so just a little recap and from our last marriage video. We talked about pretty much everything, how our relationship started from being best friend to getting together.
From not liking,
From not, yes, from not liking into the
from
Lord be like,
hostility
yeah,
to
yeah,
love.
yeah, and it's been a beautiful journey.
That
So
should be the
now,
title.
what?
From hostility to love.
From hostility to love. Okay, I love that. I actually like that. We'll see.
Hey,
From hostility to love.
he speaks to me too sometimes.
Yes, he does, and we love it. Anyway, so, but yeah, today we get into our marriage. Um, Now that you guys know, we started dating and all that stuff. So, I am in 2015. Well, in 2013, I moved to Boston, Massachusetts. I got a job right after I graduated, and I had a great job and moved. And my last year there, that's pretty much when we started dating. As we were trying to remember dates yesterday, we're literally after the video, we're like, how long did we date for? How long were we best friends for? How long? It's been a long time. We've been in each other's lives over a decade. So, but married for 6 years. So, in my last year though, in 2015, we started dating late 2014, I think. And then in my last year in 2015, so I would always go down. What would you say? Like once every 3 months or once a month or something?
I'd say once every 3 months, because also I'd go up to see you.
Yeah.
I went up a few times.
Yeah. Oh man, people are gonna. Sorry, mom and dad. Yeah, she came to see me a few times.
I did.
um, but yeah, we had to make it work. We had to make it work when we started dating, and it just got to a point where it was so tiring, like the saying bye, the sadness,
My God.
and then I remember every time I had to leave that drive to Boston by myself, I would dread the drive because I was like, yo, I don't want to leave. Not only my parents, but my girlfriend and stuff like that, and it was hard. So
And I did not make it easy,
she
guys.
really didn't. She'd cry every time, and it was bad. It was
Our
bad.
last days together never went well.
Never.
I I'm just so sad and
Yeah.
blue
And I'm like, we only have 1 hour
and
because
it's
I have
like,
to hit the road to beat
can we
traffic.
just enjoy that last day, like just be in a good mood? I'm like, I can't. You don't understand, you're leaving me.
Yeah, it was really tough. But and then at some point I was like, yo, I can't do this anymore. And I remember I told my dad, I'm like, I think I'm thinking about moving back. And he was like, I feel like my dad is like always the same no matter what. He was like, did you get another job? I'm like, no. And then obviously at the time he didn't know why. I was like, I just need to move back. And then I remember leaving like a job, a really good job, y'all, really great job. And I had, like I was paying. I rented a room from this lady, and then I was just paying like probably like $500 a month. So all my money was going into my savings. We also blew a lot of money. Now that I regret,
Yeah,
because it really
don't
wasn't
do
that
that.
necessary. Um,
We were
so
young and
naive,
naive.
yeah. So I was like, yeah, it's time to bounce. My job was literally, was gonna pay for me to go to grad school, and my dad was like, yo, you can't leave that job. If you want to go to grad school, which he wants me to go to grad school. And I was like, yo, that's not in the plans. I'm like, I'm coming down. I'm gonna pursue my fashion career, and then, I also want to be close. So I moved, yo. I left everything and moved for my baby, baby. Not, obviously, you when you make that decision, you want to make things exactly what if this wouldn't have worked, that's one of the
Biggest.
decisions I'd look back on and
Yeah.
say that was stupid. But I think the Lord. So I moved back with nothing. And so I had to literally start over. I had no job, no nothing, and that's when I started, doing the substitute teaching. That's when I worked at the spa. But before that, all I was doing was driving Uber for
Yeah,
for a
yeah,
long
for a
time
while, yeah.
because I couldn't find a job. It was hard to find jobs. I just moved back and stuff like that. So that happened, and I remember one of the most beautiful things that spoke to what we were building when we decided to do things the right way. Let's let's make our relationship the way we want our marriage to be. And when I wasn't working, I had bought a brand new car off the lot, yo, for my birthday.
Why didn't we
And
just
and
give
that
it
year,
back?
2015, that same year I was moving back.
Oh, we couldn't return it because it was.
No, I never thought about returning it. That was my car.
Of course you
That was the only
didn't.
car I had.
Well, that's true.
Brand new, bro. Brand new, almost, it was like 30, almost 35K. And that's why I left with no job, but yet a $500 bill for a lease. No, actually, I actually owned it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you owned it.
And then she literally had to help me with my payment. And I remember my dad finding out,
I know.
and that's when he knew. That's when he knew this wasn't just a regular
I mean,
dating
it
thing.
was basically my car too. Okay,
It
that
was her
car was
car.
picking me up from my
Yeah, I
job,
remember what I said. I
bringing
didn't.
me
I
up,
didn't let her
bringing
walk, bro.
me, to
Everywhere.
work,
Yo,
bring
I
everywhere I
was.
want to go.
Listen,
Like
it was tiring for me, but like I didn't care, bro. If she got off at 11, I'm picking her up at 11. If she had to do this, everywhere.
yeah.
And I was like, that's my baby. Now I'm here in Stanford.
He's like, you're not
You ain't
gonna take
walk.
the
You ain't
bus
taking the
anymore.
bus while I'm here. When I'm in Boston, I had to fight with her all the time. I'm like, yo, let me order an Uber.
Yeah.
She would refuse. But I'm like, now that I'm here, there's no refusing me. So yeah, we did that, and then I remember and at some point, I was like, all right, now it went from I can't say goodbye, I'm tired of saying goodbye, and then it went from that to I'm tired of dropping you home and then going home alone. Because we'd spend like, after work and stuff like that, she'd either come over or, we'd spend the day. And then obviously I had to drop her home. And it's just every time I'm dropping her home, I'm like, yo, I hate that feeling. And I'm like, something needs to change. So we came up with a plan. We're like, you know what? We're going to get married in court and we're moving back to Boston. I'm going back to my job.
Yeah. We didn't have we didn't have the, fancy proposals that you
I
see.
never proposed.
You know,
I never
we
proposed.
just sat on the couch one day
And
and
we're
we're
like,
like, we're
we're getting
tired of
married.
this.
We're getting married.
We're getting
When
married.
you know, you know. Because, and now I think about it. I know some of y'all ladies might be coming for me. I know, but don't come for me. Cause some of this like beautiful proposal and you guys crying and the flowers and then you get married and
I
the
mean,
proposal
how are
was
you're
was
gonna
more
come
worth.
for them and you don't want them
Listen,
to come
the
for you?
proposal was more worth it than the wedding. Or the wedding was more worth it than the actual marriage. We're not about that life. We knew what we wanted. We literally had a conversation. We're like, we're getting married, and that was that. Okay, so we're like, this is the plan. We're gonna get married in court, and we're moving to Boston. And then we sat with my dad, and my man was like,
I love you, boo.
you can't do that. I was like, what do you mean I can't do that? I don't wanna wait anymore. I'm like, we have no money. I'm not working. That's the easiest thing to do. Getting married in court doesn't cost much money. And if I go back to Boston, I already know what the job is there. Like what it's like. So I know we'll be good. And he was like, and my dad has this like, one of my uncle calls my dad the most
The wise
wisdom, the
man. The
wisest
wise man.
man
Yeah.
on this earth, and he
He's
really is.
truly
He truly is a
wise.
wise man. And sometimes, we butt heads sometimes, but a lot of times I'm like, I have to listen to the
When you take
man
a minute,
because
in the moment, because you don't want to hear something. Even we do that with God. Even with God, we do that, right? When you really want to do something, and then you go to the Lord, and He's like, no. And you're like, why not? He's like, because
I
I
said
have
so.
other plans for you, or because your plan is not going to work. And you're like, but that's what I want. And God is like, well,
Good for you. So
I'm
yeah,
giving you two ways. You
yeah.
pick one. And for us, it was just like, we were so set on our plans. Like, this is what we're doing. And it's good. It's a good plan. Until we talk to the wise man. And it's like, no.
He's like, you guys can't do that. He's like, culturally, it's not gonna look good. And I'm like, Pop.
At this point, we didn't care about culture.
Also, I was like, you forgot who you talking to? Me and my dad
Oh,
goes
yeah.
back and forth for years
Oh,
on this
yeah.
on this
About that.
topic,
Yep.
because he was like, you have to live for people. You gotta live so like there's a certain way people see you in society. I'm like, bro, I couldn't give a damn, and that's always been like I don't care about what people think about me or anything. Guess what? They don't pay my bills. Them talking about me won't take one hair off my head. I'm gonna be me. They either live with it or kick rocks.
Yeah.
But I was like, I
No
sat down,
comments.
I sat and I was like, all right, maybe we should wait it out and work and then try to,
Save.
save and stuff like that. So we sat down and we came up with a plan. And that's when I started working 2 jobs.
No, at first, it didn't come, back to you so quickly. I remember I had a moment
What moment was that?
when, at first I was like, yeah, we'll do the court thing. And then after that,
Oh, yeah.
I just,
She's like, I
I
can't,
sat
I
with God
can't
and
do it. She's like,
I
I
was
can't do
like,
it.
and I thought about it from the perspective of we're literally gonna be the first one to get married. Well, at least for him
Yeah, my family.
and his family. And I'm like,
She
our
has a good heart,
parents.
yo. She was thinking about
And
everybody
I
but
said,
herself.
and I said, my mom is, older. Your parents are, older. Like, let's trust God and give them something.
Give them that experience.
Give them that experience and give them something that. Imagine if we didn't.
I know.
So give them that experience. Give them something to be proud of, because culturally, that's how it is for them.
Yeah.
Their kids getting married. It's a moment for them to just like
So yeah,
invite their
it's a
friends
proud
and
moment.
share that proud moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I was like, but because I know my husband, well, at the time I know my fiance, I know going to him with that would be like, you just switch on me. See, I knew it. I knew you would do that.
But I didn't do that, did I?
Oh, you still, yeah,
I did.
you put it in for me. You were like,
I
every
guess I
time,
did.
man, every time we plan something, you always go
But
back
she
and
she
change
does
your
do that though
mind.
a lot, a lot. We'd make up a plan, and then she's just 1 day later. 1 day later, y'all. She was like, I can't do that. I'm like, what was the whole point of literally yesterday? We just
Okay,
wasted a day.
there's a lesson in this, guys.
There is.
Don't ever say yes to anybody before consulting God and sit with the decision
Yeah.
and see how,
Yeah.
how
Don't
if
act
you
on your
can live, if
emotions.
see if it's something here. Because I
Yeah.
would do that a lot. Also, ex people pleaser here, okay?
That is true.
So I
Part
was
of it
still,
played in that.
I was still in the
Part of it played
process.
in that.
Exactly, I was still in the process of, you know, slowly moving away from that mindset. So there was still a lot of it left in me. So there are a lot of things that he would say to avoid conflict or avoid, not that he would be like, but he would challenge me. And I didn't know how to deal with that. So to
She
avoid
did.
that, moment of me being challenged and not know what to say or like whatever, I would say yes to keep things cool. Then I sit with my conscience and God, and I'm like, no, it doesn't make sense. I can't do that. So we would have those moments where I
Yeah.
would say yes to something, and I come back, I'm like, you know what?
She's like,
I
I
can't go
can't
through
go
with
there.
it.
Yeah.
You know?
And
So
it was like a roller coaster in that sense. But I guess now reflecting back on it, God used that little part of you that was, when you were a people pleaser
God wastes
to
nothing.
kind of, yeah, absolutely wastes nothing. Because if you didn't have that, there are decisions that we would have made just on
That
emotions
was a good
that would have,
balance.
yeah. So yeah, so we decided. So we're like, okay, we decided we're not gonna do that once sis changed her mind on me. And then we sat down. We drew up a plan, and we started saving. I was working 2 jobs, like you guys know by now. I would teach and during the day, and then I would work at a spa in the afternoon until like 10 p.m. I worked 2 jobs for a long time, and it was literally saving, 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 until we were okay, because we didn't really, because we still had to pay the car and do all these things. So we were trying to save, but you couldn't see what you were saving. It was the weirdest thing. And we're like, a wedding costs so much money. And then the Lord showed up
Oh yeah.
once we said, all right, we're gonna not do it the not the wrong way, but like the way we thought would make sense for
Not do
us.
it selfishly.
Right.
Well, the moment we start thinking about the other people,
Yep.
and we're like, okay, obviously that little saving that we're trying to build is not building.
Yeah, it really wasn't
So we're
building.
like, Lord, this is a moment to really trust you
Yep.
here
Yep.
and invite you to do something unexpected. And we just stay with God.
Yeah, we went after him, and we're like, this is what we want to do. We believe that it's in your will. Marriage is in your will.
And honoring our parents
Honoring our
while doing it.
parents. Yep.
Yeah.
So we're like, all right, we're gonna trust you. So before I got the job and started saving, that's when the Lord showed up, because our first seed didn't come from our saving,
Nope.
and it was the weirdest. let's call it a miracle because that's really what it was. All right. So my dad took my old car.
No, you're
No,
not.
my
Yeah,
actual car. Yeah,
brand new
the brand
car.
new car. My dad took my car to ShopRite, which is basically like Walmart grocery shopping here in Spartanburg since we don't have ShopRite here. So he took it to ShopRite, right? So he parked it right next to the cart ramp where they put the carts and stuff with the two, metal frames and stuff. So he went inside, and there's this older lady, I guess, like those old people. She was backing up and backed up into one of the metal ramp that hold the cars, and that fell on my car. So the people that was doing the carts, so they stayed there with her until my dad, because they didn't know whose car it was. So when my dad walked out, they had to call the cops and stuff like that. But the car wasn't really. I mean, it scratched just a little bit, but there's like no damage to it, right? Till this day, I never fixed it. And so, and then when my dad told me, I was like, what happened? And he's telling me. So we filed the report, and then obviously my dad wasn't at fault because he wasn't even driving. So when we did the report, the insurance and stuff like that, they decided to pay, to fix the car. I was like, I ain't fixing the car, bro. There's barely, like
It's
I could live with that.
it's a lamp. Like Jacob wrestled with God and then came
I was
out
like,
with a
I can
lamp.
live with that, bro, because I need the money. I
We're
can
like, we're
use
gonna
that
keep
money.
that. This is gonna be a reminder.
And this is literally where our first seed for a marriage came from. I had nothing to do with it. I was nowhere near it. My dad taking the car, and then I'm not gonna say random because that was divine.
Oh yeah.
An old lady driving to that thing, and then for it to fall on my car, but
Yeah.
not damaging it.
Yeah.
Just a little scratch, and then that literally brought a resource that we were able to
Yeah.
start our
Yeah.
saving. And that's how we started saving for a wedding. It was like almost 3 grand. And we're like, we're not touching that money. It's going straight to a wedding.
Yeah.
And this is how it started. So, yeah. And then I got the jobs, and then I started saving. And then, we're like, okay, when do we want to do this and stuff like that?
So that's fast forward. So he moved in 2015. This is fast forward 2017.
Yep.
When did we make the decision? Like close to the end of the year.
We had 7 months.
So like we probably
It was
decided
December. December. I remember December. So in December, we were like, we want to get married in July. Why? I don't know. July. We just said July. We're like, that's enough time to save and figure it. And at the time,
No, at first we wanted to get married in September.
why did
When
we
we
want
sat
to get married?
because it was a me thing.
Okay.
I don't know why I thought September was just a beautiful month to get married. But it's a popular month
It
where
is.
people get married. So when we
Oh,
sat
yeah,
with a
we-
friend,
So our friend at the time,
was a wedding.
wedding planner. Okay, she worked for this company. They have venues and stuff like that. So we sat with her, and she was like, September is
It's a
not a
good
good
idea.
month.
Yeah.
So we're like, okay, since we can't do September, then let's do July. She's like, okay, let's try to do that. And she set up the meeting. And again, guys, God always had a plan. If we had gone and do the court thing, we really, now that we went through it, we would have regretted everything, because having our friend literally being in that industry provided such a huge relief, because she was able to get us a discount that we would have never been able to get from that place or step foot in that place.
It is truly a beautiful thing when you decide to trust God. Okay? The first idea that seemed so good to us was our idea.
Yep.
The one that I wrestle with. And God will always find someone. God will
Always.
always find the person that he knows he can, and when two people are walking together, God will talk to the person he knows that is more lenient to, like,
You're saying I'm too stubborn for the Lord?
you're not too, no one is too anything for the Lord. But in the moment, he knew he
I'm
could,
just kidding.
he knew he could trust me with that,
So the
even though
Lord
I was
couldn't trust
fighting
me?
him. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, he couldn't trust you. But yeah, so when I started, I was like, Lord, how am I gonna? What am I gonna like? If I go back and say that to Val, this is exactly what he's gonna say. He's gonna say, I always, give up on him. I always, you know, try to please other people except for him. Like, and I'm thinking all these things. And he did say all these things. But I'm like, Lord, if it's truly you who put that in my heart, you will work it out. He will come back and agree with it, and then we're gonna move forward. And that was an opportunity for us
Yep.
to have that, moment of trust
Yep.
and faith walk with God.
Yep.
And that, if you think about it, that was the foundation of where we are now.
Yep. Yep.
You know,
Yep.
this is what we would have
God
missed
wastes
out on
nothing, bro.
if we didn't listen and did our own thing.
When you have nothing, trust the Lord.
So man,
Trust God when you got
yeah,
nothing.
he really showed up, and the
He
provisions were
showed
there.
up.
The
Okay,
provisions were
we
there.
just didn't know because obviously, like we had a picture again. Going back to whatever you think, you have in your head, get rid of it, because what God's gonna do for you, it's not something that is in your head. It's not something that you have in your plans. His plans for you is always gonna be a lot different than what you have planned for yourself.
Yeah.
So we're like, all right. And then, we sat with a friend and she was gracious and helpful. Shout out to Candace and Frankie. She was an angel. God sent for that specific
Yeah.
season for
Yeah.
us. And that changed everything. Then we started, going to see the venues, and they were amazing. So one in Stanford, one in New York, and stuff like that. But we fell in love, obviously, with the most fancier one.
I mean, if God is backing us,
You know,
why not go for the?
it wouldn't be me if
Why
I go
not
with
go
the
for
simple
the?
one. We're like, at this point, God is in control. Let's get what really
We
we
got
really
sponsor.
want.
We got
Okay,
the biggest sponsor in the world.
that's
So
it.
we're like,
So we went. We went. She set up the meeting. We went, beautiful venue, y'all, beautiful venue. And then they had different rooms. And because we weren't having a big wedding, so your boy over here don't play none of that cultural stuff, pleasing people stuff. I ain't about that life. All right. Me and my parents had a
oh man,
mini fight about this, because they have friends in our church. Or the culture is, when you get married, you invite the whole church. And I was like, absolutely not.
it didn't make sense. I mean,
I was like, absolutely not. Because there are people that I would see on Sunday as just a hi. You ain't coming to my wedding. I told my parents, I said, our wedding is going to be different. And I know you guys are not going to like it, but this is my wedding. I'm sorry. And I said to them, this is going to be intimate. Anybody that I've never had a real conversation with ain't coming. Any family members I haven't spoken with in the last 3 months ain't coming. And no friends, any friends that I haven't spoken with ain't coming. That was that. So I was like, and then they're like, so I can't even invite this friend. I'm like, no, I don't know that person. They're like, you can't even give us a number of people. I'm like, I cannot. You know
Oh,
why?
yeah.
Because I wanted 50 people in my wedding.
yeah.
But with God's grace, we raised it up to 60. So, I could be a little bit lenient. I raised up to 60 to, give them a little, room to move. So yeah, we raised up to 60. Actually ended up being 61. But so when we went, there are some rooms that they do not allow for people to rent
Yeah.
unless you have 100 plus
Yeah.
guests. And obviously, of
The
course,
room that we fell in
the
love
one
with.
we fell in love with was a big room, and it had to be 100 people. So we told Candace, we said, this is the room we love. That's what we want. She's like, they're not gonna do it. Like it's unless you can bring your guest list to 100. And like, I'm like, nope, I don't want to do that either. So we're like, you go talk to your people. We'll go talk to our boss, our dad. So we went on prayer. Yo. We went into prayer. We said, Lord, this is the room we want. We wanted to get married in court. You want us to have a real wedding? Well, this is the room we want. Make a way.
Listen.
Make a way.
Listen.
Make a way. Okay?
When you're going with God, you go bold.
Listen, the man's gonna show up. Never disappoint, bro. Never failed. So I remember going back, and then
She's like, good news.
she was like, "Good news, y'all. They're gonna give you guys the room."
At first, she was like, there's no way they're going to give it to you guys. Especially, if it's in July, like
There's a
other
lot of
people,
wedding.
there's a lot of
of,
wedding and stuff like that. Whatever. We're like,
we're gonna pray about it.
we're going to pray about it.
That's what we've been doing. We're gonna pray
That's
about
one
it.
thing we never shy away from. Like people are helping us doing
Yep.
something. And, we're like, listen,
Yeah,
I hear you.
Yeah, I remember the moving here, the
Yeah.
mortgage, how they messed up the date for the closing, and then she was like, once they have a closing date, you cannot change it because there's so many closing in the day.
I get it.
I literally said the same thing. You go talk to your people.
We'll go talk to
I'm
a
gonna
boss.
talk to a boss.
And for us, truly, that's how we know when we're doing something. That's how we know for sure that that's what the Lord told us to do. That he backs us up when we're like when our backs are against the wall and we don't know what to do. He has a way of just like showing up, and all we had to do is like go to him. Every time our backs are against the wall and we don't know what to do, we're just like, Lord, we don't just take no for an answer, We always go with, you told us to do this. And now this is what the situation is. And we're trusting you to, fix it. We're trusting you to make a way. And we're never disappointed.
He made a way, y'all. So we got the room that we wanted, and the lady was like, the guy was like, we're gonna fix it so that way we can bring in the room since it's a huge room and you don't have a lot of people. And man, and shout out to everybody who played a hand in making it a beautiful day. We had I'm not being biased. We had one of the most beautiful wedding. Okay, and all glory to God for making it happen, and thank you to everybody who played a part. Mm-hmm. Alan showed up. It's my baby. Yeah. I give him a vision. I was like, listen, I want a live band. I want you to perform.
And
I want my friend Lovely. Shout out to Lovely. I want Lovely to perform. I want Tatiana. Shout out to Tatiana. Yo, we had artists, bro.
Yeah, we had a whole live band.
Live band. Shout out to my brother, DJ.
Yeah.
And everything, y'all. Everything. And it was such a wonderful and beautiful day. And we sat back and we're like, yo, man, we're so glad we didn't do this stupid court work. Now it became stupid. And that's what the Lord does, yo. We're so glad we did. So we got married, July 2nd, and we had the 22nd, and we had a wonderful time. Places was amazing.
The
Food, man. Listen, we didn't even get to do a tasting because they don't do that.
They're fancy like that.
They're like, we don't want people to copy your recipe, so we don't do tasting. So we had to literally trust that the food was good, and it was amazing. Banging.
Yeah.
Good advice to you guys: if you're getting married, please reserve time to eat because we wish we could go back. Matter of fact, I want somebody to get married at that same place.
Choose the same menu.
Same menu, so we can enjoy what we did.
Oh my God!
And they took food for us, and we give it to someone to hold it for us. And I guess that person enjoyed the food so much that
they lost it.
They went home with it. Somebody went home with the food. You didn't lose no food. You took that food home.
Either way, we forgive you.
We forgive you, So that happened. And then another blessing happened. Shout out to my best friend.
Ooh, ooh.
Just Snell, bro. That's my boo.
Yeah.
That's my best friend. Man. We've
Yeah.
been best friends since high school, y'all. Since we were in 10th grade.
Yeah.
Man, that's a long time. Um, he was like, "What do you want for it?" And again, we all this we did without having a lot of money, but the Lord made a way.
How did we get to the amount that we got? I
I,
don't even.
I have no
I don't
idea.
even know.
Okay, I have no idea, and that was with a big discount that she was able to give us because she worked there. Again, the Lord made a
Mid
way,
provision. Yeah.
and then we're like, would love to go on our honeymoon. No money, obviously, no money. So we're like, we don't know what we're gonna do. And then my best friend happened. He was like, "What do you want for your wedding gift?" I was like, "Well, I'd like to travel and go, to our honeymoon somewhere that is not here."
And he blessed
And
us.
he was like, "Where do you want to go?" I'm like, "Well, since you asked, this is where I want to go." And he was like, "I have an idea. What if you guys do like a mini tour?" I was like, "That'd be great, but we have no money." He's like, "Don't worry about it." I was like, "Huh?" He's like, "Yeah, don't worry about it. I got it." Y'all, when I tell y'all, this man paid for everything: hotels,
And tickets.
plane tickets for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So we had a mini tour in Europe we visited 6 countries,
5.
5 countries,
I think so.
5 to 6 countries, whichever it was, in
I
three
think it's
weeks.
5.
Five in 3 weeks, yo. In 3 weeks, all paid for by yours truly, my best friend.
Pew.
Now, I don't know what you guys' definition of miracles and blessings are. The Lord made a way.
Yeah.
That was literally the song that we had. So shout out to Frankie, the other Frankie, Frankie de Ravine.
Yeah.
All right, he had a video. He had a company, video production company, where they do music videos and stuff. So I told him, I'd love to have a video for the wedding and stuff like that. How much would you charge? He was like, "Val, please."
Bro.
Are you guys listening to all this that's happening? He's like,
Favor.
"Val, please."
When I think about us, the only word that I can, think of is like favor. Like it's
Favor, bro.
favor. And
Favor. The favor of God, bro.
it's not always in the form of money. I feel like for us it's
It's always
more
people.
it's yes, in
Always
the
people.
form of
God always
people.
put people in our path, bro.
Yeah.
And you can't put a price on that.
Nope.
He was like, "I got you." He's like, "The only thing you may have to pay for is," because he had another guy he worked with, Rick. Shout out to Ricky.
Yes.
Came, and even with him, huge discount. He was
Yeah.
like, "Nah, you don't have to give me all that.
And
I got you."
he
He
was
was so
so
kind,
sweet, like
so
such a
sweet,
good man.
so patient, so fun to work with.
Yeah.
And man, he did both of them because he filmed and then Frankie edited, and they did such an amazing job. I wish I could post a video in that video. Maybe I will. We'll never know. So you guys could see. And all that was blessings, and we have no words, yo. Okay, and then
You know how expensive
all
video
this, yeah, and it's funny because I did the research because before I reached out to him, I was trying to see what companies are around. They were starting at $2,000, bro. $2,000 for a 2-minute video. Yeah, I know the deal. If you got married and if you had a video, one of those professional videos, you know how much it costs. I was like, where were we gonna get that money from?
we were literally like, okay, I guess we're not gonna have any.
It was just photography.
Yeah.
Shout out to Garcon. Shout out to Garcon because we had a photographer, and we were like, if we can afford it, then we can afford it. And God was like, I can afford it.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, Dad. All right,
Yeah.
you do you.
Yeah.
We'll just follow. And then blessed us with a video. And then yeah, so we went, the day after our wedding, we went to the hotel. We slept, and then we woke up early. Alan again came to get us and drove us all the way to New York.
Yeah.
Not New York, Newark.
Yeah.
I think that's how I
Newark,
say it.
yeah.
Newark. And because that was the airport that the flights were flying out of, and we flew out the next day early in the morning, and we went on,
On a journey.
on our journey. So our first stop was in
Ireland,
Ireland, and then from Ireland we went to
Spain.
Spain. Man, Spain was beautiful.
That's his favorite.
Give me
Part.
Barcelona any day, every day, bro.
I'm gonna stop saying that because I haven't been to
Listen, give
the
me
others.
Barcelona
From
any
what we've
day,
seen
every
so
day.
far,
That's what I'm
I
saying.
guess.
Give me Barcelona every day, any day, bro. Um, and then we went to
From
Italy.
Spain, we went to Italy,
From Italy, we went to
France.
France. From France,
We
we
went
went
to
to
the one we didn't get to enjoy because we were so tired. London.
London. And then from London, we went
We went
back
back
to
to Ireland.
Ireland. And I got to meet my friend, whom I was friend with since college, and we never met because she lived in
Ireland.
Ireland. So we were literally friends. Like we would Zoom every night, me, her, and my roommate, and we were very very close. So I wrote her. I'm like, yo, I am gonna be stopping in Ireland, and I would love to meet you for the first time after all
Yeah,
these years. Shout out to Diana, bro.
Diana.
That's my good friend.
Yeah.
So we met
She
her.
was very sweet.
Yeah,
Gave
she
us a
she
tour.
came to get us at the airport, give us a tour, and we spent some time with her and stuff like that, and that was awesome. And then yeah, yo, we were so tired. We got to London. We literally slept for 2 days.
Yeah.
We literally went nowhere. So we want to go back to London to actually explore. If any of y'all feel
We
feel
did.
led by the Holy Spirit to pay our London trip,
Yes, I need to go back for some ginger ale if they still
yo,
have them.
if y'all never tasted real ginger ale, go to London, bro.
Woo! That was
We're
good.
still talking about that
Man,
ginger
that was
ale,
good.
the real ginger
You tasted
ale.
ginger.
Okay. So yeah, and we came back home, and everybody was like, "Man, it feels like you guys have been gone for." It did feel long, yeah. 3 weeks,
Yeah, it
yo.
was 3 weeks
3 weeks
of walking, a lot of
a
walking.
lot of walking because every 3 days we had literally had to pack up and move because we were flying somewhere else. I've
Yeah, but
never
everywhere
flew.
you go, you would take the train to
Yep,
the place and then
I've never
you
flew so many
walk.
times in my life. Seven, what is it, 7 flights?
7 flights.
7 flights in 3 weeks. Ugh,
Yeah, I think that got me
I
used
will
to
not do that again.
being in an
Don't do it,
airplane.
y'all. If y'all gonna do like
It
that
was
a limit
tiring.
trip, do like at least 5 days per country. If you're gonna
If you
do it
can
that way.
afford to
If
do
you
that,
can
yeah.
afford, yeah.
Or at
Don't
least
do 2 days or 3 days.
less
Don't do it.
countries.
That's what I'm saying. Less country. Like
Yeah,
in
yeah.
3 weeks,
3 weeks.
I would
Yeah.
have done 3 countries in 3 weeks
Yeah.
instead of like 5 countries in 3 weeks. Tiring. But yeah, we couldn't believe it. Yo, we couldn't believe it because we sat back and were like, yo, we went from having nothing to having one of the best and most beautiful wedding at one of the most beautiful venues that we would not have been able to afford without God, without the discounts and everything, to literally traveling when we didn't have nothing. And we came back and we're like, God did that.
Yeah, absolutely.
God did that.
Absolutely. Because that wasn't even our plan.
I was not on plan.
And I think in that moment, God saw an opportunity to start training us for what He had.
And we had no idea.
You
That
know,
was
we didn't know what was coming.
2018, yo. 2018. God was training us since then.
The moment we decided we were gonna get married, and one thing we always do too, okay? When we make, even though we decide on something, we always bring it to God.
Always.
Okay, when we decided to start dating each other, we didn't just jump in because we know we were best friends and then we had feelings for each other.
We prayed about it
We prayed about it for a while.
for a while.
You know, I had to ask God, like, am I making the right move here? Are we doing the right thing? So even for a wedding, even when we decided, okay, we want to do a court wedding, we still went to Him and say, this is our plan. What do you think? And that's when He started like whispering things that are not what we planned, but that I think God saw that as an opportunity to, do something, in our lives. And
And he did.
he did.
And he
He
did.
did. And that was the beginning
And
of
that was the foundation for us.
the beginning of.
Not you. It's like
I
you're getting burned or
I'm a
something.
mess. I'm sorry, guys.
It's all right. Yeah.
But yeah, it was good, man.
Trust God, bro. When you literally have nowhere to go, trust God.
I like that we get to do
When
this.
you have nothing left, trust God.
Yeah.
When you have nothing to move on to or move on with, trust God. When you run out of money, trust God.
And when you have in abundance, trust God.
Trust God, bro. When everything seems like they're
A
just not
bliss.
going the way you want to, when you literally feel like you're at the end of the rope, trust God. Because He will always show up. Sometimes He will let you go at the end of the rope.
I mean, yeah.
Because that's where your deliverance is going to come from, at the end of that rope.
Yeah. Sometimes you have to hit the rock. You have to hit rock
Rock
bottom
bottom.
to find the rock.
Woo!
The rock meaning Jesus.
Woo!
That's not from me. I've seen that somewhere. But I kind
But
of like
still,
paraphrase
it sounds,
I paraphrase
it
it,
sounds
but
prophetic.
sometimes God lets you go, all the way down, and He's waiting for you there, and it's to show you too that God really meets you
Where you are.
where you are.
Also, sometimes you have to fall in order for you literally to have no strength to pick up yourself back up. You literally have no courage. You literally have nothing left in you for you to cry out to the Lord and for Him to just
Reach out and get you.
reach out and elevate you
Yeah,
back to the place,
those moments of
to the place of
desperation.
honor.
Oh yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So trust the Lord, bro, because now that we're sitting here, the Lord has entrusted us with this platform where He's asking us to steward it, because that's not ours, right? He's asking us to steward this, and He gave us a name. What is the name? Testimony and Blessings. When did our testimony start, bro? Before we started dating. And then went to our wedding, because our wedding is a testimony. Yeah, I just heard everything.
the wedding. I think the wedding was really the foundation.
Yep.
That's when God really started training us to trust Him.
Yep.
That's the very first test.
Give us He started writing our testimony, yo. He started writing our testimony.
Because there's no way, we could have had that wedding and do all that thing, all these things that happened.
Yep.
We didn't even know how we got to the amount of money that we had in our saving for the wedding.
No idea. I couldn't tell you till this day. I really couldn't. So yeah, we made it back home. And then, she moved in with me because I was still living with my parents at the time.
Yeah, because we
Little
could.
tiny apartment, yo.
Yeah,
My
we
dad
couldn't find
kicked
a
out my
place.
brother out. He kicked my brother out. It was like, okay, they're married now, so they gotta have their room. It was a 2-bedroom apartment.
We
yeah.
couldn't find an apartment.
We went
and that
everywhere.
also was divine.
We went everywhere. Everywhere. We booked every appointment for every building you can think of, from Stanford to Norwalk to all the way to Stratford.
Yeah, nothing.
We couldn't find one, because we weren't making enough. 2, our credit score wasn't great, right? And we're like, Lord, what are we gonna do? We can't, because her mom was living at one of her friend's house at the time. We're like, she has to be with us. We have no place, and we said to ourselves, we're like, we want to enjoy our first year of marriage. We want to travel. We want to enjoy each other for a year. And not to have to worry about a kid. And God was like, you're funny. And then boom, we got pregnant.
I
We're
think we need to stop making our own plans.
seriously,
They never work.
bro. We got pregnant. We're like, Lord, we cannot bring a kid into this apartment. It's 2-bedroom. My parents has one, and my brother is sleeping in the front. It's like, we can't do that. And we're like, yo, why can't we find an apartment? Even the cheapest apartment you can think of, we couldn't get, literally. Because the last one we saw, the lady was like, no, based on you guys' income and stuff like that, even your credit score being the way it was, you can get that one. It was like $1,250 or something like that, 1 bedroom and stuff. We went to see it and we started making plans. We'll get her mom like a futon and stuff like that and all that, and couldn't get it. Why? Because God had a better plan. So happened so a friend of a friend had a house who was also Haitian, had a house that someone was moving out of, and then they would need to rent it, and then they mentioned
That to me.
that, and then we reach out, and then we found a house. Now all of us can live together,
And mind
and
you,
we didn't have to go through any process
Yeah.
because he was Haitian and
Yeah.
we didn't have to do no application, no credit
Nothing.
score,
Yeah.
nothing.
and also mind you, before that happened, I was so, moment of transparency, I was so against everybody living together.
She was.
Because for me, I thought I had this mindset that, this is
You
a
want to have
moment.
to you
Being
wanna get
married, there's a
experience
moment
to
to just,
yourself.
yeah,
Yeah, to
to
live
have our own
together
space
and
and
yeah.
And I had a dream and I saw that we were all looking at an apartment together. I'm like, why are we all looking at the apartment together
She's like, that's what I don't want.
when we're the
This
only one?
dream doesn't make sense.
Oh,
And then came to find out it was a house the Lord had literally was saving for us. And then we found a house. It was, that's where we lived in the basement. Our parents live upstairs. And everybody lived together for what, 4 years until the Lord told us to move. And it was a blessing. It was a blessing
Oh,
to
no,
us
yeah, it was.
because it helped us save. It was a blessing to my parents because it helped them save because everybody was chipping in.
Yeah.
It was 3 bedroom upstairs and then 1 bedroom downstairs.
And the greatest blessing of it all is not having to worry about our kids.
Yep.
There would always be someone to watch over them.
Because the house was filled with
Yeah.
love. And
So we were both working and we didn't have that, worry, who's watching our kids, or like we wouldn't be able to afford daycare anyway. So I would
Literally.
probably have to stop
Just,
working.
yep.
You know, God, God always.
God is so good.
He's. It's funny. I was like praying earlier, and I was telling God, I thank you that you see things from the end.
Yeah.
You see the end from the beginning.
Yep.
All we have to do is trust you.
Trust
When
you.
when it says your steps are ordered, really let him order your steps. It won't make sense. That's the thing. God will always tell you that you'll make it. He'll tell you when he comes with a promise, he'll tell you, Abraham, your children will inherit Canaan. It'll be there's for generations. He tells you how it ends, but he doesn't tell you the journey.
Yep. Yep.
So you on the journey to that promise, that's when you
have to
will
trust him. He's gonna develop your
exercise your
character
faith
and everything.
That's when God will build your character.
Yep.
That's when you're gonna have to trust him, trust and obey, even if it doesn't make sense. All these things that we need. Yeah. All these things that we
Tony
need
will
to
appreciate that one. Shout out to
build
Tony
us.
for singing that song yesterday.
Everything that you need to build us, everything that we need to build us up happens on the journey. But if on the journey you quit,
You miss out on the promise.
you miss out on a lot.
You miss out on the
miss out on a
promise. You
lot.
lose everything.
Because
You
man,
lose everything.
the journey for us getting here, and I think God that he did it his way.
His way.
The appreciation
That we have now?
that little basement apartment that we had, we're like, we're gonna make it home.
And
We were thanking God for it every single
every
day.
single day, y'all. One little spot, and we
Yep.
listen.
As
had
we were
to-
dreaming,
had
as
to
we were
convert-
dreaming
yep,
of
a house,
a house, but
we
we're
started,
still
we started there.
we're still thanking God for that. Okay, we have that little spot for us, and now we have like when I look at this house, I'm like,
What are we doing here?
this is not just an upgrade. This is like a whole new software. I'm sorry, guys. A whole new I get excited, but like, man, God is good.
That is so good.
God is so good.
And we didn't, obviously, like I said, we had to also, again, always having our own plans for things, and God will teach you so fast that your plans, that's not my plans for you, because we didn't want kids right away, and we got pregnant right away.
Yeah.
And I was like, Lord, we can't afford a kid right now. You got disappointed when you found out. Was it on Lily? It
Yeah.
was on Lily.
So
You cried, didn't you?
I think I really wanted to have a kid right away. So when
You said
after
you wanted to have a kid
yeah, I
already?
wanted. I
I
didn't
didn't
cry.
want to.
No, I didn't cry because I was disappointed. I cried because I was like maybe 2 days late and I thought I was pregnant.
That was
Then
the
my
first time.
period
Yeah.
came and then I'm like, oh, I'm not. Also,
We were on the same page. I was like, I want to enjoy my marriage at least
but
for
you
a
were
year.
excited.
I mean, I got excited when we got, but
No,
like,
you were excited when I showed you. When I give you the test, pregnancy
yes.
test,
I mean, it's
the
that first
following
kid.
month,
Is that first kid?
you were just so excited, you know. But God, trust His plan. Yeah, but the second time, that's when I was like so heartbroken. I'm
Right.
like, well, yeah, we're definitely not ready to bring another kid to that little basement, one room.
But in that, there was another testimony, because again, at the time, you know, I was working two jobs. I'm like, Lord, like I'm working two jobs. It's still not really doing much, and I have no time because I'm coming home at 10:30 p.m. Like, we can't do that. And
And having
literally,
kids, yeah,
literally couldn't find. Like, I was looking to see, what I'm gonna do and stuff like that. Nothing was working. We got pregnant, and then I got a job.
yeah,
It was Everything was scheduled. It's like God is like, nah, I'm not gonna give you another job yet because you can manage what you have now. I know it's tiring, but I got something better for you. Because I was looking at different jobs. I looked at Indeed. They had like a location in Stanford and all that stuff. Nothing was working, and then boom, we got pregnant. And then guess what? At the time we got pregnant, that's the time where I was things started to decline at the spa.
yeah,
Then things started to
yeah.
decline. And I remember, and then they wanted me to work on Sundays. I'm like, I can't do that. And I remember they called me, and then they were like, because you don't want to do certain things, we're gonna reduce your hours. It's so we can give people who
Oh,
has
yeah,
more
yeah,
availability. I was like, you do what you have to do.
yeah.
I was like, you do what you have to do. And I started looking, and nothing was working. So I literally had less hours and less money. And then as soon as we found her pregnant, y'all, when I got an email talking about, oh yeah, we'd love to interview you. I'm like, for what? Apparently, I applied like a month ago, or at that time I applied for a job, and they literally responded to me, and I never saw the email. So when I saw the email, I replied, but it had been a month. I'm like, there's no way it's been a month. They probably filled the role. There's no way they're gonna respond to my email. They'd be like, okay, this guy's not professional, or maybe he found it. They replied to me, y'all. I was like, what are the chances that a job reached out to you a month ago, you never responded, and then you respond a month later, and the position was still there? So I went for an interview, and that's when I got into retail.
Yeah.
And right when baby was coming, I got a new job. I had a I had
Set
a set
schedule.
schedule, a consistency. I had insurance because I didn't have insurance at the school. I didn't have insurance at the spa. Um, you know, and everything was just literally falling into order because it was God's timing, not mine.
Nope.
So when we sit here and we talk about testimony and blessings, testimony and
Yeah.
blessings. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
Our whole lives, when it comes to us together, since we literally got together and the Lord, made us become one, has been the beginning of literally God writing our lives and our
Yeah.
testimony.
Yeah.
And it's been a blessing to us. And that's why he's asking us to do this, so it can be a blessing to you. Because any of you guys can be going through any of these situations, but now you know there's a God that has done it before. There's a God that can do it again.
Yeah.
If he can do it for us, he can do it for you. No matter what is it you're going through, and I'm gonna keep saying it, yo. When you have nothing, when you have no hope, when you have no more strength, when you have no more tears, when you have no more cries, when you have nothing left, when you're at the end of the rope, when you hit rock bottom, trust God.
Yeah.
Even with the tears falling in your eyes, trust God. Even with your heart literally feels like it's coming out of your chest, trust God. You're heartbroken, trust
Oh
God.
yeah. The Lord is near to the brokenhearted. That's a
It's
guarantee.
tender. That's when he wants to come in and,
And mold you.
and
Yeah.
mold you. So trust God. Just call out into his name. Call out to his name.
Yeah.
And
There
he'll
are a lot
show
of
up.
things
He will
that
show up.
happen in between that we're not gonna disclose of. But, it wasn't always like a straight path just
No.
because we decided we would trust the God. There were a lot of moments of heartbreaks and stress
Yeah.
and
I mean, he's never gonna make it easy for you.
exactly. Like,
Otherwise, you're not gonna grow. We wouldn't
woo,
have been here if it was just an easy road.
we had moments where we were like just stressed out. Like, what is this? Like, what is happening? Even our wedding, we had moments where we had to, and every time you face these type of things, it's an opportunity for you to decide. Okay, because that's the thing. You're gonna have to choose. Faith doesn't just happen like that. You're gonna have to choose. Okay, am I gonna worry or am I gonna trust?
Right.
Am I gonna pray or am I gonna, it's always a decision. It's
Yeah.
always a moment to make a decision, and that's your opportunity to decide. Okay, Lord, I'm gonna trust you. I don't care what happens because that's what you said. I'm gonna trust you.
Yep.
And having the word that really helps when you stay in the word. Because God will keep speaking to you through the word and he'll keep strengthening you like through the word.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
one thing, he'll renew your strength.
Yeah. And God is always looking for a willing heart. You don't even have to be, in the place that you can be. Because I didn't again, I knew of God, before we got married, and then once we got married, because I know what I wanted my marriage to be, so we started working on praying together, reading the word together, and all these things. And once he shifted our lives, and then we shifted church and all that stuff. All these were part of the walk, part of the growth. And then we just started to see things differently, understand things differently, and we literally had a willing heart to allow him to come in and do the work and use us, so that way he can put desires in us and grow us and grow our faith and all that building, all that character building, all that season, led us to having that relationship now that has strengthened our faith in a way that we can be like, we're either crazy or God is real,
Yeah.
because that's literally all we've been doing.
Yeah.
And we thank God for the seasons. We thank God for the walk. We thank God for the ups and downs. We thank God for the stress. We thank God, now we get to appreciate all these things.
And we also thank him for his sovereignty. Because
Yes.
sometimes we miss the mark.
We missed the mark.
Sometimes we make mistakes. Okay? No one has gone through their journey perfect. Like no one has done that.
But his arms always wide
You know.
open.
Jesus
Ready
is the
to
only one who's
receive.
went through his journey perfectly.
Perfect.
But we as humans, we're gonna make mistake. We're gonna try to help. We're gonna try to
Try to help God, bro.
yeah.
We try.
Oh yeah. So now I can relate to the people that God had made promise to, and then they decided to do it their own way.
Yeah.
Even though God promised them, even though God showed them, this is not about you. This is not based on what you're gonna bring to the table. I'm gonna make this happen. They still try to help.
Yeah.
Now we can relate to these people because we
Yeah.
did the same
We
thing.
did the same thing, yeah.
It's hard for us when we can't see what's in,
What's in
how we want to know how it all, unfolds.
Yeah.
And God is like, nope, I'm just gonna give you a glimpse, and then you're gonna have to trust me for the rest.
He gives you the promise, but he wants you to trust him along the way to get to the promise.
Yeah.
Because it's never gonna be a straight road.
And He's gonna ask you to do some things that are unconventional.
Yep. And you just gotta trust him.
And sometimes you're gonna look around trying to find a blueprint, like who has done this before and how did it work out for them? Sometimes
You're the blueprint.
you're the blueprint. Abraham,
You're the blueprint.
you know?
So that's a word for somebody right now. You're trying to figure out, whatever I'm doing right now doesn't make sense. Whatever I'm doing right now, I can't find, anything like to compare to or to take notes from it. And God is like, stop looking. Stop looking, because I'm using you to be the
Yeah.
blueprint for someone else who's gonna need it.
Oh yeah.
And all you have to do is say yes.
Yeah.
Because your obedience is someone else's deliverance.
Ooh. Yes, God.
So be obedient.
It is.
Don't think about you. Think about whoever God is using your journey for. Because everything you're going through is preparation for something. It could be for you. It could be for somebody else. Because then when you encounter that person, you will be able to relate. It was you that was scheduled to deliver that person. It was your voice that this person would need to hear. It is your trust that person was going to need. Because we know people have trust issues. We know people have, but you carry something specifically for someone else that only you can give to them.
Yes.
So say yes.
We're all anointed for a specific audience.
Yep.
And as you're saying this, what comes to my mind to encourage you all with is that stop trying to understand this season in this season. You'll never.
It ain't
You'll
gonna make
never.
sense.
It won't make sense.
It won't make sense.
First of all, while you're going through this season, you're like in survival mode. You're like, I'm just trying to make it mode. You're like, I'm just trying to hear from the Lord. I'm just trying to, like, there's so much going on. Then when you're in the next season, that's when you're going to be like, oh, that's why I went through it. Oh,
Yeah.
just like now we're talking about a wedding and everything. It's just clicked that, okay, that was preparation. We never saw it that way.
Nope.
It, like, we've talked about our wedding and how, how it went for a long time. And, we're always grateful. We're always like, oh, God did this. We recognize that. But we never understood until we're now in this season. We're like, oh, that was foundation.
And the Holy Spirit just dropped something to me, a parallel, more like to break down what you just said. When you said, don't try to understand this season and this season, it would be like you planted the seed. Let's say you planted an apple seed, and then you sat there, and that same season you planted the apple seed, expecting every day you wake up, you go outside expecting to see apples. Nah, bro, you planted the seed. You got to water the seed, and its season.
Yeah.
It's gonna produce fruit.
Yeah.
So stop trying to understand this season.
Yeah.
Because whatever you're going through right now, it's for what's coming.
It's for what's coming.
The next season.
And that's when you're going to be like,
The ripe season. All right? So be encouraged. Keep going. Don't give up. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, all your might, and all your soul.
yes. And do not lean on your own understanding.
Do not lean
That part
on
is
your
that part is so for me.
understanding.
Because this whole thing about obey without understanding is not a natural thing for me.
It's not
okay?
a natural thing for anybody.
I remember being that child. My dad used to have this issue with me. Don't do this. Why?
She was the question.
Do
kid.
this. Why?
She was the white kid.
Our Haitians were very superstitious. Like, we would say things that makes no sense. Like my grandma said, my great grandma said. I'm like, but why?
And they never have an answer.
What's the meaning of it? Why did your grandma say that? So nobody thought to ask grandma why.
Why?
And that's how generational curses happen.
Yep.
You know, we just like,
That's how people stay in
yeah,
bondage.
we're just taking things, and that's how. Now I think about it, I'm like, okay, it makes sense. It makes sense. It makes sense why I was like that. There was some God had something on me, okay,
Yeah.
and you know, when I look at my life, I'm like, why is my life like that? It's only God.
Only God.
Because if I was following what happens in my family, I wouldn't be married. I would have kids with multiple dads. Because that was the trend. The trend. Sorry, guys. But yeah, like that's how it was. From my dad's side, both and my mom's side. You know? But no one questioned anything. Everybody's just like, that's how it is. That's how it is. You have a child with this person. It doesn't work out. You find another person. You find another teacher for my Haitians. And then, we continue and we have like multiple children with different dads, and it creates a whole, mess, because that's not how God intended things to be.
But we thank the Lord
You
for
know?
redemption.
Yes.
Because you, my dear, are a curse breaker. And so am I.
And I didn't know
And
that.
so are you.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
don't let nothing hold you back.
Yeah. And if you see that your life is different than what actually is happening in your bloodline, it's because you're different for a reason.
You're the blueprint.
God wants it to stop with you.
Yep.
And God wants something else to start with you.
There you go.
So don't get discouraged. It's hard when you have to be the one to start, or to stop things and start.
He's getting something out of you and starting something new with you.
Yeah. Yeah. He's doing a new thing, and he's doing it with you.
Out with the old, in with the new.
Yes.
Get in your word, yo.
So go bold with God.
Trust in the Lord. Believe big. Because the God you serve is a big God. Stop putting him in this little box that culture teaches us to put him in.
I think it's a misconception to think that we can put God in a little box.
That's
We put
true.
ourselves in a little
There you go.
box.
Therefore, whatever the God you believe for, if it's a
That's
little box
that's
God,
what you get.
You get a little box God.
There we go.
But
Faith. It is.
know it ain't the God.
Let it be done according to your
To
faith.
your faith.
So if you don't need a big. It's not like you need big faith, but you need to know who you're putting your faith in.
Yep.
And don't think about.
Yeah, that's too big. He wouldn't do
No.
that. What, bro?
No, he can.
The man split the sea.
He definitely can.
The man split the sea in
And
two.
that's something. Splitting the sea is not even that. The man created this whole universe
The whole
that
universe.
we worship instead of him. This whole universe that people are worshiping.
Stop worshiping the creation.
This whole
Worship the creator.
creation that we all want to snap pictures. We all want to post the beautiful sundown, sunset, sun up, sun coming, all these things. He created
sun
it. God is so creative.
So creative, bro.
So.
And he's your dad, yo. So that means you have creativity in your blood. Trust the man. Trust the man.
Yeah. And if you don't know God, if you don't know God, you don't know Christ.
You're missing out, yo.
Get to know Jesus.
Get to know him.
Get to know Jesus.
Seek him and you will find him.
And restore your relationship with God.
Yeah.
It is the best place you can be.
So we leave you guys with this. Seek and you will find.
Yeah.
Knock and the door will be open for you.
Yeah.
So seek God. Knock on his door. His ears is always near. Literally ready to hear our cries, our prayers, our hearts. Again, he already knows your heart. So you might as well just pour it out. Just pour it out. There's nothing you can hide from him. Just pour it out. Anyways, we hope this was a blessing to you guys. We wanted to do this part 2. As you can see, there was a lot to unpack about our marriage and stuff like that. And it's been a blessing to us. It's literally been a long testimony that's still being written. And we thank God that he's the author of it all.
Yeah.
So we hope that it was an encouragement for you. And as always, please share it with someone that you know may be in need of a word of encouragement.
Yes.
We thank you for hanging out with us, as always. Let us know what how this is encouraging you, feel free to always email us, drop comments. And, we love you guys. We love you guys. And, we do this because the Lord asked us to, and we
Yes.
believe it's for one of you. It could just be one. And we are definitely happy and satisfied with the one. If you get saved, then we have served our purpose.
And if you're
If you get
encouraged,
curious about God, then we serve purpose.
yeah.
If you get encouraged, then we serve our purpose. And if you become a follower of Christ, or if your faith gets strengthened, whatever it is that is good in the eyes of the Lord, then we serve our purpose. Have a blessed night, y'all. Well, yeah, it's literally 11:43, about to be midnight. But we thank the Lord for a space where we don't have to run out, because this is the blessing that the Lord has given us. And we get to do this home while the kids are sleeping. And now we get to go and lay down and rest. So we thank you guys for hanging with us. We love you guys, and we hope to see you guys next time. I love you guys, my testifiers. Shout out to all our testifiers. And with that,
Ooh, ooh.
we check out, y'all.
Bye.
Peace. Hey guys, if you're watching and if you're listening to Testimony and Blessing podcast, please subscribe, hit the notification button to make sure you never miss anything, and please share our videos to someone that you know may benefit from it. We really appreciate you. We thank you for your time. I thank you for following us. We love you. Peace.